Hi children, welcome to Euclid Learning. This is a local English medium academy which will be helping you for ICT in local syllabus. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I have a separate video series for grade 6, 7, 8, and this is the grade 9 and chapter 1, right? Yeah, let's start. Chapter 1, Preparation of Computer Specification. So in this chapter, we are basically talking about computer peripherals, computer and peripheral devices. And when you're selecting, when you're going to purchase a computer, what are the things you should worry about, right? Based on your user requirement as well as computer specification with some non-technical factors, right? So in this picture, there are two kids talking about. So one is telling that she needs to buy a computer to do school assignments and for the father's business. And the other one basically needs a computer which can be portable, right? Because he wants to study from anywhere like that. When it comes to the requirements, two different requirements, but still there are many types of computers available, right? Either you can go and directly buy a computer or you can get a computer assembled with different hardware and software components based on your requirements. So that's what this chapter basically talking about, right? So first of all, identifying user is very important. User, who is the user? The one who uses the computer. So it's a basic understanding, even if it's an application, the person who is really using it is called as the user, right? So when it comes to the information and technologies, when it comes to ICT, there can be different kind of users, right? So actually here they have mentioned different kind of professionals you can see in this industry, programmers who really do the computer programming, network administrators who are basically working with computer network, system analysis who is basically designing systems. Software engineer programmer can be like going together who basically develops the software because to develop the software you mostly need to do the computer programs. And then comes the computer application assistant, that is basically for the office applications, Word, Excel, those things. A web developer again who develops the web applications, right? So there are different kind, not only these few, there are so many professionals regarding ICT, right? So users can be two types, right? Uh, it can be system users or it can be end users. So system users are the people who develop and maintain the application or the software. But end users are the people who really using these softwares, right? System users can be there, end users can be there, right? So when you are going to select a computer based on your requirement, so first you have to identify clearly what is your requirement. Okay, so here they have mentioned few user requirements. Some people need to play a game. Some people need to prepare documentation. Some need to access internet just to watch gossips and YouTube and all these things. Some people want to do audio, video editings and all, right? Graphic designing. Based on that, your computer which suits to you may be bit different. So that's why understanding user requirement, what you really need, is very important, right? So as I earlier also told, either you can directly go and buy a computer which suits to your requirement, or you can assemble a computer, right? There, when it comes to computer, we can think about two uh, types. One is non-portable computer. That means you cannot take it from one place to another, right? Server computers, workstations, desktop computers, all-in-one computers. So these things are not portable, right? You cannot take it from one place to another like while you're working, right? So because they are mainly using the main electricity power, and these computers are usually large in size and very heavy. right? So they are like installed and you are using in one place, right? It can be seen in houses, it can be in offices and schools like that. So they are bit huge. Server computers, if you have seen in an office kind of, you will understand they are big and heavy. So they are not like portable. But there are computers for more mobile use. That means for the portable their usage, like laptops, notebooks, tablets, and smartphone even can be considered uh, like that. So they have a rechargeable battery. So you can, even while you're traveling, you can work. Okay. So here they have mentioned types of computers, what we just taught. So here remember there are two types, right? Which is portable and which is not. So when it's come to learning about computers, yeah, you have your textbook, but don't limit your knowledge in only into this book because ICT is very dynamic subject, right? Sometimes the other subjects may be very similar, right? What your parents learn and what you are learning, the content may be not very different, right? For example, if you think about maths division, it's not a very new concept nowadays, but when it comes to ICT, this uh, contents are like outdating all the way, right? So your parents may be having using floppy disks, but nowadays we don't use floppy disks. Even you may have not heard, right? So like that, this ICT and IT, computers and everything, like this knowledge and the devices are changing every day. So therefore, it's very important you learn these things. Don't only limit your thing to this textbook. So that's why they have mentioned either you can even learn from advertisements on computers, right? If you see some newspapers, they are selling different types of computers with their specifications. So you can go and see magazines, newspapers, websites, right? And from experts you can go and get this knowledge, right? You can visit to different computer shops, so you can get an understanding about these devices and computers and all, right? So make sure you have some up-to-date knowledge on these things. So computer peripheral devices. So what do you mean by peripheral devices? Right. So usually computer will need input and it will do some processing and then it will do the output. While doing this process, they will need some storage as well. So input devices are the devices which need to feed data and instruction to the computer, right? And you do the processing. So there are processing devices and then you store these data and instructions, and then you have output devices which you use to provide the information which was processed uh, to the user, right? So all these input, storage, output devices, we call it as peripheral devices. So here they have given some examples. Now if you think about input devices, they have a table. So keyboard, mouse, microphone, those things are considered as input, like scanners even. So output means you are giving the output to the user, monitors, printers, speakers, plotters, those things. And when it comes to storage devices, you have hard disks, optical disk driver, flash drive. Flash drive is pen drives and CDs, DVDs, portable hard disks like that. So all these peripheral devices are connected to the computer as in this picture. Okay. Now, touch screen. In the mobile devices or tablets, you have touch screen. So here, this touch screen can be considered as input as well as output device. So make sure you understand the concept, because when you touch and when you select something, you are giving the input and it will do the displaying part as well. So remember, touch screen can be categorized into input devices as well as to the output devices. So then they are going to talk about computer specification. So when you're before purchasing, you have to make sure you should understand what is the computer specification. Okay, so specification is usually about common features of an item. Even you go and buy mobile device, even you go and buy a textbook. Here they have given, when you're going to buy a textbook even, you need to know what are the common features of this, right? What you need actually, like from this book, what are the features of it? So length of the book, width of the book, most important, number of pages, because when you are going to buy a book, you should know whether I'm going for a 40 pages book to an 80, 120, or what is the thing? What is the size of the book? Am I going for a CR book? So when you are doing that purchase, you worry about these basic specifications, common features, thickness of the paper, type of the paper, whether it's a single rule, double rule, kind of that. So similar to the book, we have specification for computer as well, right? So here they have given some examples what I have explained itself. So different specifications for different purposes, and even the price will be different based on these specifications, right? So user requirement should be considered, and that should match with the specification. Understood, right? So when it comes to specification, right? Because if you look at the specification of a product, you can get an idea whether it really suits you, and you can get the idea of the product, of quality of it, right? So the processor, right? Here they are talking about different kind of important factors which will come under computer specification. First one is the processor, right? So when it comes to human brain is very important, and it's the one which we use to make decisions, right? So brain can respond to any uh, situation. Even when the dog is coming running after you, brain is quickly telling you run, right? And you will run, right? Whatever the situation. So like that, brain is very important. So similar, the processor of a computer is the most important thing. Actually, we call the processor as the brain of the computer, right? Will be this is how it looks, right? The processor. And remember, the speed of a something, not only a processor, speed of any machine is very important, right? Because if the speed is low, it will take long time to complete a task, right? If the speed is high of a device, then it will finish some tasks very shortly or in a lesser time, right? So for example, they have shown you, if the first blender is working very slow, you can go only for very few glasses of fruit juices. But if it's working fast, then you can go for more uh, glasses of juice, right? So similarly, if your processor is working very fast, definitely the performance of your computer will be high, right? Because if the processing speed is high, that means the processor can process more data during a unit of time. For 1 second, you how many tasks you can complete, right? So, for example, software can be run faster. So, computer is not freezing kind of thing. So, those performance-wise, computer will have a lot of gain if the processor is very fast, right? So, always when you're selecting a processor of a computer, make sure you are going with the greatest speed, right? And remember, speed of a processor means how many instructions you will be executed per second, right? So remember, if the speed of the processor is high, then definitely what will happen? Price is also high, right? So the speed of the computer is measured using, I told you, instructions which can be executed per second, and it's used to measure using hertz, right? So mega gigahertz, it can be different because nowadays the process is very fast. So remember, 1 megahertz is equal to 1000 hertz, and 1000 megahertz is to 1 gigahertz. That's the relationship, right? So there are different kind of processor manufacturers, right? Like Apple, Intel, AMD. Kind of, you may have heard all these things now. Okay, when it comes to the types of processors, right? How many number of processors in the central unit is what we talk here, right? So there can be single core, dual core, like that, right? So when the number of processors are more, definitely you will understand that central processing unit the will work. That means processor will be fast enough, right? So because it will increase the capacity. Okay. So definitely rather than going for single core, it's better to go for quad core. Right now, nowadays we have Core i3, not even i3, i579. Right, so those are the latest versions of computers. So they have a 4 processors in your CPU. So it's faster, right? Okay, then comes the hard disk, right? So hard disk is the actually permanent storage space, right? Where you go and store your data and instructions, right? So the hard disk is kind of a secondary storage device, right? Uh, so definitely if now for example here they have talking about books. So 40-page book and 160 pages book, right? You definitely understand the size is different. So it's like talking about 1 terabyte hard disk or 4 terabyte hard disk, right? If the memory capacity is more, you can store more data, right? So they definitely 4 terabyte hard disk is more expensive than 1 terabyte hard disk. The monitor display. So the monitor, it's the main output device we have, right? Basically, user is interacting with the computer using via the monitor or the display. So when it comes to the monitor size, right, larger monitors have larger screen. So that means definitely you will have a better visibility, right? Like they are comparing the wristwatch is very small, but the surface is small. But when it comes to wall clock, you can have a more surface. So face like size is more, so you can see the numbers better. So similarly, if you have a larger monitor size, it will be more user friendly for you, right? So usually the monitor size, you may have heard 19 inches like that. So remember, it's the diagonal length, right? Not the just length or width. It's the diagonal length. Okay. So when it comes to monitor technology, you may have heard LCDs, LEDs nowadays, but when we were starting our ICT journey, even our TVs, you may have seen CRT, the big units, right? Very heavy and very, uh, they are consuming power a lot. Not very easy to carry even. So even for TVs, we have CRT, right? And for the computers, desktop computers as well. But nowadays, we are basically using LCD screens and LED screens. They are flat, right? And very easy to carry, less weight and less electricity consumed. Okay, now earlier we talked about the hard disk, that is a secondary memory, but main memory, this is a primary memory. RAM, you may have heard of, right? So here they are talking about as the example, now rack, you have a rack for the school library where you can keep your bag. So if you have a very small rack, you only few people can come and put their bags, right? Quickly it will fill. But if you have a huge or large rack for school bags, then more kids, more students can keep their bags. Okay, like that, if the main memory size is more, right, the capacity is better. Random access memory, RAM. So the capacity of the main memory, RAM size, RAM capacity, we are also measuring. Bits is the most small one, right? 8 bits will be a byte, but nowadays we have gigabytes measurements, right? So gigabyte means 1024 megabytes, right? Then comes the VGA, right? So yeah, we learned the monitor is the main output device, right? So the output is fed to monitor using a VGA, right? So there can be two types of VGAs, right? Sometimes VGA can be fixed to the motherboard, or you can have separate VGAs. Like especially separate VGA card has separate video memory and a processor. And when people who are doing a lot of games, into games, you know this, right? You may have separate VGA cards installed, right? Now, but nowadays, this VGA concepts and VGA ports are not used. Mainly, people are using the HDMI, right? So that's the most high quality because audio and video both can be transmitted, right? So because if you are using VGA, then only images will be transmitted. There should be a separate cable for the sound. But if you are using HDMI, both sound and the video both will be transferred together. Okay, so VGS for analog, DVI for digital transmission, but HDMI means both audio video can be transmitted. So it is the more quality. That's what usually we are using nowadays. Then comes the sound cards, right? Um, Computer not only for working and studying, you can use it for entertainment as well. I know definitely that entertainment part is very clear for you, right? So sound cards can be um, required when you want to listen to music and recordings and all, right? So microphone can be used to record voice and all as the input device, and speakers can be used as the output devices where you can listen, right, by playing sounds. Usually the most of these computers have sound card is installed to the motherboard, right? Or so usually user can just connect the external devices to that. So here they have given this audio out mic in line in these ports, sound related sound cards. But nowadays, most of the time we are using USB port. Okay, we'll be discussing about the same thing again in this chapter. So sometimes you won't be seeing these colors and ports, especially even in laptops. We are basically having uh, USB ports. Pre-installed software, right? When you're buying the computer, sometimes they will install some software, especially the operating system, right? It is a must to have, right? Because that is what makes the interaction between user and the hardware. Without an operating system, you cannot work, right? So then after that, application software also can be installed on top of the operating system. Operating system is like Windows, Mac OS, Android for mobile devices. So after you install the operating system, you can install any application software. Like for example, to go to internet, you need a browser, web browsers, office package, games, video editing tools. Those things are considered as application software. So when you are buying a computer, sometimes they will install this software for you. Now, when it comes to software, I talk this in each grade before free and open source softwares are there and proprietary softwares are there. So when it comes to the operating system like Linux, Ubuntu, those are free, open source one. That means you can easily download without any fee and use it. But there are license operating systems also. You have to pay for the license and use, like Windows, Mac OS, and all. So they will give a trial version, right? But it's for some limited period. After the trial period ends, definitely you have to buy it. Otherwise, most of the functions are not available, and it's actually illegal to use those software. Okay. Then when you're buying your computer, right? Sometimes the the people will shop people will install this operating system and other software, but sometimes most probably they will install just docs or Linux like free stuff. But if you get a license software, then definitely they will charge for that as well. Uh, so it will be more expensive. So when you're purchasing, yeah, and up until now we learn about technical things you have to worry about the hard disk, about the RAM, about the softwares installed, about the screen size, like that. But we have to think about some non-technical stuff as well, like the manufacturer, right? Brand name and all these things also will come into picture. Okay. So one special thing is the warranty, right? Because you have to make sure not only a computer, any device, most of the people are giving a warranty, right? So usually vendor will give the warranty or the manufacturer himself will give a warranty. So for a certain period, maybe 1 year, 2 year, like that, if you find any defect, any issues, they will give help with this warranty, right? So manufacturer warranty means this is given by the manufacturing company. So if the device is malfunctioning because of a manufacturing default, usually they will repair or they will replace. Okay. So it's very important. That's why when you're buying a laptop or a computer, there are so many shops, right? Some people even sell the stolen ones as well, right? So when you are going to buy a computer, better to go for some kind of a reputed place. Yes, they may be more expensive sometimes, but you have actually have some kind of a quality assurance, right? Because some people tell there is a warranty, blah blah like that, but when you are really going and trying to claim, definitely there will be issues. Now, for example, when I bought my first laptop, within the first year, it's a reputed brand and all, but still within the first year, my charger stopped working. So, but because I bought it from some kind of reputed place, I was able to go and they gave me a new charger, right? But the same story won't be happen if I bought it from some kind of a place. When I go with them, they will talk different stories. Maybe they are telling me it's your fault, you did something, like that. Okay. So make sure you have a proper warranty when you're buying not only a computer, any device, right? Extended warranty. Sometimes you can get prolonged, a longer warranty. In addition to the standard warranty, I have seen this with mobile devices also. That means the customer can pay additional amount and they can get additional extended warranty if you want. Right? On-site warranty, right? If a customer get this, right, usually technicians will come to your place and repair the product, right? They will maintain, they will replace faulty parts and examine the operations and all, right? Usually this same process will happen if you have the warranty, like if you purchase even a oven or something like that, if it's within the warranty period, you can get this service free of charge. They should come and check, but It's very hard in Sri Lanka. Sometimes you have to make a lot of calls and complaints and all to get it done. But in the real terms, if it's within the warranty period, they are like obliged to do this service free of charge. Now, there's a standard warranty for the computer, but sometimes for even mobile and other devices, this is common. They will tell the it's for 3-year warranty, it's for 3-year warranty. But if you check very carefully, they will tell for the battery only 1 year. For some parts, we are not giving any warranty like that. Okay, even you go and buy a sofa, sometimes they are telling for the structure we are giving 5 years, but maybe for the fabric material it's only 1 year, or they don't give any warranty for that. So like that, you have to check the standard warranty is there, but some of the parts of the computer, the warranty will change. Right? There can be so many conditions like this. Then comes the price. Yeah. So definitely price will be depending on the specifications and other things, brand names and all, right? For example, if you have a high-speed processor with a larger monitor, right, with a more memory capacity, mm, high capacity hard disk, high capacity RAM, then definitely price will be higher. It's common sense, right? So when you are going to buy a product, you have to compare the prices with the specifications and the requirements, and compare it at least few shops. Okay, so don't think only price matters. Now they have important note there. It is not advisable to purchase a computer considering only price. Oh, it's very cheap here, let's go and buy it. Don't buy like that, because when you're buying a computer, mobile device, laptop like that, make sure you get the specifications and check whether it matches to your requirement. Then you have to think about the price, yes, because you should be affordable to buy it. No. So, because just to don't consider price and just go and buy something. Okay. Like services after sales. Yeah, usually when you purchase a computer or other device as well, they will give the technical assistant, technical advisors, right? And different help sites and all these things. So better to get these things also understood, right? If how you are going to give this after sales, right? Should I make a complaint, and how many days will it take, like that? At least ask and get some understanding. Always try to go with a reputed name, vendor, and recognized manufacturer and all, because especially in Sri Lanka, people are doing a lot of cheap things, right? So I know when we were in university, like your first dream to buy a computer or laptop and all, you just have very less money maybe. So don't go and buy something from somewhere, because the whole money or the it will be a waste, right? So try to check the recommendations. Check with your friends or relatives and all. If they know a good place, then go and buy it, right? Don't go to Facebook or some more social media and you see some advertisement and it's very attractive. They give a lot of after sales services. They those things can be just sentences. We don't know. So always check the reviews and recommendation before you do any purchase on this. Right? Then we are going to talk about ports and network connections, right? Because ports are very important to connect the peripheral devices to the computer. So grade 8 we discussed. They have a long list of ports, right? So you can go and refer them back. So sometimes when you are buying the computer, you will need some other peripheral devices also to get the setup done. So you will need to know these things also. So USB is the most commonly, most widely used port now. so many now if you go and check the grade 8 textbook, I told you in that video also, uh, most of these ports they have explained in that chapter. Nowadays we are not using. So in here they are talking only about the USB port and the network port. Yeah, those two are the mostly nowadays used, because using a USB you can connect all these things: printer, keyboard, mouse, scanner, pen drives, external hard disks, and external DVD drives, cameras, barcode readers. All these things are uh, can be used using the USB port, right? It's most of the time it's just plug and play. It will automatically install the drivers and also, so you can just use it. Then comes the RJ45 connector network port, right? This thing you can see nowadays. Then comes the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi facilities, right? These are wireless. That means like you don't need wires to connect. Bluetooth is for some kind of a lesser range, right? But Wi-Fi you can use for some range. So they have put it to a diagram, right? When you are going to purchase a computer, you have to check the specification. Technical, non-technical, there can be two categories. Technical means like processor, hard disk, memory, screen size, all these things. And non-technical, price, warranty, the reputation, after sales services, all these non-technical things. Again, for technical specification, they have given you a like kind of a summary, right? So for the CPU or the processor, you have to think about the type, the number of processors, and the speed, right? Main memory, capacity, and the generation. RAM. Okay, hard disk, that is secondary memory, the capacity. Monitor, the size or the screen size, it's a diagonal length, and the type, the technology behind the monitor. And the VGA, right? With the most of the time we are having HDMI nowadays. Then the sound cards, whether it's on board or you have to separately plug in. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 1, grade 9, right? I will quickly go through the summary, right? There are different types of computers. Those can be portable or non-portable, right? And when it comes to peripheral devices, you have input devices, output devices, storage devices, even the processing devices like that. Then comes the specification, right? It's the detailed description of something where you can understand the quality of the product, common features, right? So when you're going to buy a computer, the basic specifications are the processor type, speed, RAM capacity, hard disk capacity, monitor size, and the technology, and the VGA with the sound cards. So those are the technical specifications. And when it comes to non-technical factors, this warranty, reputation, after sales services, those things also you have to worry. Okay. So yeah, that's the end of the chapter 1. So thank you for listening and being with us. So if you haven't still subscribed my channel, please subscribe and click the bell notification so you will get the notifications when I upload a new video. Please do comment, ask any questions you have. Uh, yeah, thank you for being with us.